Tasks 1 and 2. Interview with Professor Belgasim Haba, Part 1. Algerian scientist and inventor, Professor Belgasim Haba, is interviewed by Dr. Riyad Baghdadi, an Algerian researcher in the Computer Science and Artificial Intelligence Laboratory at MIT, Massachusetts Institute of Technology, USA. I listen to the interview, Part 1, and I complete Mr. Haba's ID card.
Welcome, Professor Haba. Can you give us an overview of your journey starting from Algeria to where you are now, in California?
Let's start from the very beginning. I was born in 1957 in El Magaya, a small town 120 kilometers south of Biskra. Back then we only had one middle school, so I went to Amir Abdelkader High School in Tugort before joining the University of Bab Ezouar in Algiers, where I completed a DES, Diploma of Higher Education, in physics. Then, I got a scholarship to study in the US. By the way, back then I had never heard of Stanford University, having come straight from the desert. I did a master's degree in applied physics, and then I wanted to get into solar energy. So, I did another master's degree and a PhD in this field. After graduating from Stanford, I joined IBM's research labs in New York, working on the application of lasers to microelectronics.
IBM, for those who don't know it, is one of the biggest IT companies and one of the key drivers of the IT industry.
Tasks 6 and 7. I listen to Part 2 of the interview and complete the dialogue bubbles.
That's right. After that, I was contacted by Nippon Electronic Corporation. So, I went to Japan and stayed there for 6 years. I was working in the application of laser technology to microelectronics while I was living there. Then, I moved on to work on miniaturization.
The miniaturization of electronics.
Yes. When I returned to the US, I joined Tessera, which was a small company back then. Our aim was to miniaturize the mobile phone. Phones were big, and we knew that if we managed to make them smaller, they will sell more.
Tasks 8, 9, 10, 13 and 14. I listen to Part 3 of the interview and do the tasks.
When was this?
In the 90s. By 1998, we started to see results, and the technology that we produced started to get used from that point to this day.
So, any person right now is using some of the technology that you have developed as part of this company?
Exactly. And we were also doing other things while we were working on the miniaturization of mobile phones and mobile phone chips. We were working on the miniaturization of cameras. Then, I moved on to a company called Rambus, which specializes in memory chips used today in memory sticks, memory cards and smart cards. It was there that we designed and developed the console games, PlayStation 2 and 3.
Tasks 15 and 16. I listen to Part 4 of the interview between Professor Haba and Dr. Baghdadi, and circle only the words I hear between brackets.
I think most students listening to this interview would like to get advice from you. What advice would you give them?
The first thing one must do is to fill in the gap of your points of weakness. Secondly, when you are about to do some work, work on something you are able to accomplish. Finally, you must have a goal, an objective and a plan to achieve it. I feel sorry for people who don't have a plan, a vision of where they are going in life. When you have an idea to realize, don't give it up because of problems or obstacles. Be perseverant. Perseverance is more important than intelligence if you want to succeed. Also, find people who can help you. Many of us want to do everything by themselves. You can't clap with one hand.
Thank you very much, Professor Haba, for speaking with us and for your advice.
I hope it's going to be beneficial.